Good morning, everyone. Good morning and welcome to the Unity of the Valley Sunday Zoom service for August 9th, 2020. My name is Rich Miller, and we're certainly glad that you could join us today. We're going to do a couple of songs today written by Judy Blackwelder. She is the music director for Music City, which is the Unity in Nashville. And this first song by her, it's called Let God Be Seen in Me. I'm not sure if you know it, so I'll show you how it goes. And it goes, let the world see the light of God in me, the light of God in me, the light of God in me. Let the world see the light of God in me. Let God's light be seen in me. And each verse is basically the same, although we change the focus from God's light to God's love to the joy and then peace. So let's do it. Here we go. Let the world see the light of God in me, the light of God in me, the light of God in me. Let the world see the light of God in me. Let God's light be seen in me. Love. Let the world see the love of God in me, the love of God in me, the love of God in me. Let the world see the love of God in me. Let God's love be seen in me. Joy. Let the world see the joy of God in me, the joy of God in me, the joy of God in me. Let the world see the joy of God in me. Let God's joy be seen in me. Peace. Let the world see the peace of God in me, the peace of God in me, the peace of God in me. Let the world see the peace of God in me. Let God's peace be seen in me. Do that last line with joy. Let God's joy be seen in me. Now love. Let God's love be seen in me. Now light. Let God's light be seen in me. Yeah.
Good morning. Happy Sunday. Thank you for joining Unity of the Valley Spiritual Center's Sunday Cyber Service. My name is Mark Sowell, and I'll be serving as your host today. We welcome back our guest musician, Rich Miller, this morning. Thanks for joining us this morning, Rich. It may be a while before we return to our beautiful center. In the meantime, we greatly appreciate our speakers and musicians who are willing to join us via Zoom. Speaking of music, do we have any Neil Diamond fans out there? Don't you just love that song, Sweet Caroline, right? I thought this was a pretty funny take on it from a bar. Due to COVID-19, it's banned. There'll be no touching hands, no reaching out, touching me, touching you. If you'd like to be added to our electronic newsletter called The Weekly Buzz, to stay updated, you can opt in to our website, unityofthevalleymn.org, or email us at info@unityofthevalleymn.org. Likewise, if you have a prayer request for a prayer chaplains, you may submit it at the same email address or ask for a prayer chaplain to call you. We also encourage you to subscribe to our Unity of the Valley YouTube channel, like our Unity of the Valley Facebook page, and visit our website at unityofthevalleymn.org to learn more about us. We're blessed each week to have several volunteers who make this service happen. Let me introduce you to those who are sharing their talents this morning. Sherry Johnson is going to be our daily word reader this morning. Kathleen Navarre will be delivering the prayer box blessing and leading our affirmations. And a special thanks to Deanna Reese, who is in charge of the slides, and John Ruddy, who serves as our moderator, the person behind the scenes, who's doing all of our recording and Facebook Live. We appreciate everyone's unique contribution to our service. A few reminders, unless you have a role in today's service, please keep your microphone on mute until the end. Likewise, if you're going to be multitasking while you watch the service, please do turn off your video so as not to distract other viewers. Those controls are in the lower left-hand corner of your Zoom screen. Finally, please refrain from using the chat feature during the service as it distracts from the music and the message. We invite you to get comfortable, tune out any distractions, and let in the love and light. After this service, you're welcome to stay on to say hello to other Unity members and guests during our online social time. Your mics will then be unmuted. Now I'd like to introduce our speaker so as not to interrupt the flow of our meditation time. Our speaker today is Nia Clare. Nia is a clear, heart-centered channel for archangels, ascended masters, and a collective consciousness calling themselves the HAO, or HOW, emissaries of the new harmonic or divine feminine consciousness. She collaborates with these spiritual guides to provide clarity, connection, and certainty to support spiritual awakening. As Master Certified Life Coach, Nia helps clients awaken to their own divine nature by removing emotional, mental, spiritual, and karmic blocks and strengthening their connection to the divine. Nia's talk today is titled Navigating Uncharted Waters, Relying on Your Inner Wisdom. Nia, thanks for being with us. We're looking forward to hearing your message today. At this time, we'd like to welcome anyone who's watching our Zoom Sunday broadcast for the first time. Please join me in this special blessing. We offer you peace, love, and friendship. We bless you, and we're glad you're here. It's now time for the reading of the daily word, followed by the blessing of the prayer box and the reading of our affirmations.
Good morning, and as we move deeper into spirit with the daily word, and the daily word for today is appreciation. My page turned, sorry. Appreciation. That's my fan blowing my pages here. All right, as we move deeper into spirit, the word for today is appreciation. I am grateful for the good in my life. Today, I take time to appreciate the abundance that surrounds me. I notice the beauty of the natural world, the talent and dedication behind the music and art I enjoy, and the skill and commitment of the people who work to maintain a safe and orderly world. The more I focus my attention on everything I have to appreciate in my life, the more I notice even more blessings. I am eager to share the gift of appreciation, so I give my full attention to someone I care about, as we share a meal or a favorite activity, or simply a quiet moment together. Feeling grateful for my life's blessings, I feel renewed appreciation for the love and beauty that enriches my life. The Bible verse for today is, "Then turning to the disciples, Jesus said to them privately, Blessed are the eyes that see what you see." Luke 10:23, and the word for today is appreciation. Thank you.
Good morning. This prayer box holds an infinite number of virtual prayers. So I invite you now to silently add your own name and the names of anyone in your heart or on your mind who may need prayer support. These virtual prayers are known and will be addressed by the infinite. We know that the truth behind all appearances of disharmony is the divine and perfect presence of the infinite, which we call God, Spirit, or Source. We call forth within all people the wisdom and the strength, the love and the peace, the wholeness and vitality of this perfect presence. We affirm that the requests in our prayer box and in our hearts and on our minds are being resolved in divine timing for the highest good of all concerned. We send love and light not only to these people and circumstances, but to our community, our country, and our world. May the love of God enfold us. May the peace of God uphold us. May the wisdom of God inspire us and help us to know in our hearts that all is well. And so it is. Please join me in our affirmation for the day. I rely on my inner wisdom to navigate uncertain times. I am then aligned with my highest good and the highest good of all. Now the affirmation for our spiritual center. We give thanks that Unity of the Valley is a prosperous, thriving, inspired, connected community. We are growing spiritually and manifesting our dreams and goals in an energy of love, peace, and joy. Namaste.
Now let us prepare for meditation. There's a still small voice inside us we can turn to when we are in doubt. In our heart of hearts, we'll find the answer and learn what faith is about. When we know that we know, we will know that we know to let go and let Spirit flow. When we know that we know, we will know that we know to let go and let Spirit flow. There's a still small voice inside us we can turn to when life seems unclear. We can know real peace, calm and assurance, and welcome each day without fear. When we know that we know, we will know that we know to let go and let Spirit flow. When we know that we know, we will know that we know to let go and let Spirit flow.
Let us now prepare for meditation. Find a comfortable position. Open your hands. Place your feet on the floor. And if you're comfortable, close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths, coming to this present moment. Allowing your breath to relax and to bring you into this present experience. Breathing in, breathing out. And as we breathe in, feel that connection that occurs between our inner and our outer worlds. And we bring our attention inward with every breath, easily, effortlessly. And we relax in this now moment. As we breathe in, let's follow our breath inward, allowing ourselves to fall back away from our thoughts and our feelings, letting them be, gently falling into this stillness, this place of quiet, a place where we are one with spirit. Every breath relaxing, every breath gently bringing us to this beautiful place of quiet and stillness. And it is in this place that we relax in a different way. Our whole being loose and open. Open in our experience of being held in the vibration and love of the divine. As we breathe in, feeling that love wash over and through us, giving us a sense of place, a fullness of being. That we are here, now, and all is well. It's in this quiet place where we find connection to that which is beyond our knowing, to that which is beyond our understanding. We're open to all that is available to us. Our awareness expands and we become receptive and willing, open to all that is available to us. Ideas, inspiration, love, flow, wisdom, and strength. All of this here and available. And it's as easy as our breath to come to this experience. And as we breathe in and allow ourselves to just melt into this experience, expanding outward, being filled and in the flow of the divine. We come to the awareness that there is nothing lacking, not in who we are, not in our experience, not in the world around us. We feel the divine flowing through us, flowing through all things. And we are awash in a sense of peace and clarity. And we breathe. Breathing in and allowing this to wash over us as we sit in the silence. Taking a breath as we come back to center, back into this perfect moment, holding the awareness that we are divine, that we have access to all that we need, that we are well sourced. We bring this sense of fulfillment, this sense of peace and ease back into our day today, knowing that this awareness, this knowing, this wisdom is simply a breath away. And as you take 3 deep breaths, bringing yourself back to this present experience, allow yourself to bring with you and embody this feeling of connection with that which is holy in you and holy in all things. And so it is.
Let go and let God live your life with you. Share the love of God in each thing you do. See the morning sun as a brand new start, and let go and let God into your heart. The love that you give comes right back to you. Loving when you hurt is the hardest thing to do. Seeing love in all is a special art. Just let go and let God into your heart. Love can be so healing when it comes straight from the heart. The benefits are greater than you know. Limitless in power, a gift direct from God. The secret is with an open heart to let love freely flow and give thanks for all things God has given you. Act as if your dreams will soon all come true. Seeing love in all is a special art. So let go and let God into your heart. Let go and then let go and let God. Let go and let God. Let go and let God into your heart.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Rich, for the beautiful music today. What I just have to say, it always amazes me. I've spoken at Unity Minneapolis, and it's always magical, the music and the words that come with the message that we're talking about. And so thank you. It was just delightful. And songs I haven't heard before. So I love when things are synchronous. And yesterday I happened, well, I like Facebook and I like social media a little bit. I shouldn't say I like Facebook, but it's one of those things. And I had somebody post something that made me laugh so much. And I was thinking about what our topic is today, which is, navigating uncharted waters. And it was a little video of this girl who met with herself, this young woman who met with herself. It was as if she could go back and talk to herself in January. Now think if you could go back and have a conversation knowing what you know in last January, and she had this little conversation. I was just laughing so hard because our biggest concern at the time was, wow, there are some really bad fires in Australia, and we kind of thought that was the big deal. And I was like, wow, things have changed a lot. But she was talking about how many things, like if you only knew, and she couldn't talk about what it was going to be because the butterfly effect. But she was talking about things like if you can please take good care of your health, if you can get out and exercise and really get those lungs a pumping, she was talking about all these things. I was just thinking, we really never could have imagined the world that we're living in, I think, today. We have so many things that have changed dramatically in the last 7 months. And I would guess that many of us, like myself, I remember thinking in the end of February where we got the notice from school that they'd be shutting schools down. I have 2 children. And I thought, okay, this will be a couple of weeks. Right? And we're all, yep. We kind of thought, well, we'll give it a month, and we'll get through this. And I remember them talking about July, like it was like, there's no way I can do this till July. And here we are, and it's August. So I've been thinking a lot about this, and we could talk for hours. I bet, if we were all sitting in a group talking about our positions on things and talking about what our beliefs are and what that's all about. And right now it's creating a lot of upheaval in our world. Where do we stand? Where does our family stand? What do we want? What can't we have? It creates a sense of deep dissatisfaction, frustration, and disappointment at a level that's unprecedented. Most of us would like to be able to escape, to go somewhere for a little while. And so one of the things that I've found, and I've been working with this for the last several months, because there is, when the world around us is like a tornado that just is unending. It's like we keep waiting, or maybe a hurricane is a better metaphor, is that we're waiting for the eye of the storm to know that we're like halfway through. It'll get better at this point. It just doesn't seem to be coming in a way that we've ever seen before. So we're in a state of upheaval. We have changes to our lifestyle. We have changes to our relationships. We have changes to what brings us joy. And it's very easy to feel out of control and feel at a loss and feel like I don't know what I can do. And I find that people are doing a couple of different things. One is that they're grasping at everything to have control over everything, really trying to manage every part of their life, to stay busy, to stay engaged, or they're blaming everything. So there's like a loss of a sense of self, a sense of control. And it's got to be their fault, whoever they are, or that person's fault. And one of the things that I keep coming back to is the fact that we have access through the work that we do every week. If you're doing meditation, one of the beautiful things that I've learned in Unity is that we connect with God, not out here, not that God isn't everywhere, but we're not looking outside of ourselves. We look within, we find this place within us. And now is one of those times, and it has been for months, that we have this opportunity to really put it into a whole different level of engagement. Because sometimes we know things, we know what we need to do, we know how to do it, but how do we really access and actively work with that inner wisdom, that inner connection to the divine? And the reason I think this is so important to work through and to connect with is because we have, what do I want to say? We have this, we get caught in our mind. I don't know if anybody is like me like that. I'll get caught up in my thoughts. Like, I know exactly what to do. I know exactly what to do. But when it comes time to do it, it's the last thing I think of. Anybody have that experience where you're like, I know exactly what to do. When I'm feeling discontented, when I'm feeling unsettled, I need to go within. I could take a couple of deep breaths and connect in, and it's usually the last thing I do. Instead, what I find myself doing usually is holding my breath, resisting or getting busy or turning to distraction, Facebook, a conversation with somebody in my family, getting busy with something. And what I miss in that is I miss the gift that is ready and waiting for me. The clarity, the wisdom, the ideas, the inspiration that are beyond my knowing in that moment. And so this has been an unprecedented time of change and disruption and disturbance. And it's also been an unprecedented time for us to begin to practice truly what we believe, truly what is available to us, because the distractions are minimizing. That we just don't have them. Can't go shopping. And Facebook there aren't as many kittens and puppies as there were 5 months ago, right? There aren't as many little things to distract us in that way. And so as it's really an opportunity for us to go within and to connect. And I was, the other day, I had the opportunity, as an example, I was very frustrated with some friends of mine, some very close friends of mine, who were talking about something that I felt rise up in me as this is not okay. And I'm sure some of you may have had this over the last couple of months, where you just have these moments of, I don't know, we don't agree. How could this be? We've been best friends or family members, and we have these moments. And what is interesting is, as we come into those moments, what do we do with them? How do we practice what we know in spite of conditions? How do we trust what is available to us? And so it's in those moments, it's in these beautiful moments that we have the opportunity to take a breath and go within. Think about how often in your day, whether you're at work, going to the grocery store, talking with somebody on the phone, reading something on Facebook, listening to the news, thinking about what's happening, and you get some level of disturbance, some level of anger or sadness rise up in you. And what's the choice in that moment? Is it distraction? Is it avoidance? Is it not wanting to touch your experience? So I want to talk about 3 things that I think will help with this. And the first one is, and this is to me one of the greatest lessons I've learned over the years in working with people. And it's really learning how to honor yourself, no matter what. When we honor ourselves, it is really saying that as I am, what is happening with me right now is absolutely perfect and divine. I'm angry. It's okay. It's perfect. It's divine that I'm angry right now. I'm really ticked off at this person, and I really, really want to lash out. It's okay. Just breathe and honor that. Honor that feeling. I'm not saying go and do that, right? You could, but I'm not saying do that. I'm saying just honor the experience that you're having. And when we do this, when we take that moment to honor our experience, when we take that moment to breathe in and say, oh, this is my truth right now. This is my experience. We can actually do something in that moment just by honoring the experience as it is happening. And it's counter sometimes to what we're told to do socially, like, ooh, don't be angry. Love them, send them love, send them this. And again, sometimes we jump to respond or to react before we take a moment to breathe and to connect and know where we are. When we take that moment to check in with ourselves and honor that experience, that is a moment of healing. It's a moment of honoring the self as sacred and divine. There is no experience that any one of us can have that is not sacred and divine, because if that were the case, it would not be of God. And everything that we are is of God. Emotions are electrical, hormonal experiences that are like this. They just flitter through our consciousness. And they move. And the only reason that they become a thing is because we grab it and we wrap a story on it. I'm really angry. You're terrible for being so angry. You shouldn't be so angry. And now it's a thing. Or I'm angry. You darn right I'm angry. Did you see what that person said? And now it becomes solid. But if we're in this place of just, oh, I'm angry. Right now I'm feeling angry. And honoring that before we wrap a story around it, before we start to build our case or start to deny that experience, we are in alignment with our divinity. We are in alignment with that which is sacred within us, and we are open to that. And from that place, we make a different choice. We have the choice to, I'm going to double down on this and I'm going to stay angry and I'm going to make my point. Gosh darn it, but it's our choice. Not, again, I wouldn't advocate for that, but I would also be a liar if I said I never did that, right? That sometimes we choose that peace, and then sometimes we choose, I'm gonna let it go. That's not worth my attention right now. And sometimes we choose, I just needed to feel what I needed to feel. And it's not something that requires more attention. Emotions can be fleeting, and we often forget that. We get so caught up in our story. And in those moments of honoring ourselves, we are also more likely, more willing. And I love that this month, I thought about this month's power is will. And how willing are we to face ourselves as we are? Beautiful, imperfect, messy, sometimes selfish and arrogant and righteous and all of these things, and face ourselves, because when we face ourselves rightly, we have this opportunity to see the lovingness that we are, to be in that vibration. And we have the opportunity to make a decision about what we want to do about that. It brings us into greater alignment and clarity. I have a story that I just want to share, because this was, of course, this had to happen this week. I had an internet issue, which right now that's a big deal, right? I had an internet issue, started on Monday, and on Wednesday I finally called. I called and I had a terrible customer service experience. So I was like a little annoyed and I got on the phone with this woman who was so lovely and so wonderful, and she was so helpful, and I was already agitated. I'm like, can you just help me? I need to do the I was terse. I hate to even admit this, but that's true. And I was short with her, and she was so helpful. She's like, here's what I can do for you. And we troubleshoot, and it came down to, it was a line issue, so they had to send a technician. And they could get somebody out by tomorrow, Monday. And I was like, what? How am I not? I have things to do this weekend, my whole business. I was just like wound up about this. I'm like, isn't there anything you can do? I would love to have someone here by Friday. And she's like, really, I can only put the order in. She was powerless to do anything in that moment and she said, but if they get things done early, you get moved up in line. I'm like, oh, great. Well, maybe I'll get that. So I was very frustrated. I hung up. I was irritated. I had a scheduled meditation, which I did that afternoon. And during the meditation, I'm like, I am not a nice person. I was like really upset with what I had done and how I was. And we sometimes have those moments, and I was in it and I could almost see what I was doing. I was so disappointed with myself. And then later that afternoon, I went and sat out on my porch, and I didn't know the woman's name, so I couldn't call and apologize. I couldn't call and send an apology to the company. And so I just sat on my porch, on my stoop, and I just said, I'm sorry. That was very selfish. And I was thinking about this. I know there are gifts in this. I know there's a gift in the delay, and I'll figure it out. I'll figure out what I need to do. If I have to go work remotely somewhere, I'll figure it out. And I just am so sorry. And what was so funny is I went for a walk Friday morning, which I don't always do. I got caught in the rain, and I came back. I walked in my house, and there was a phone call. And it was the cable guy who was in my neighborhood and was just wondering if he could come on over. And do something right then and there. And I just happened to have the time and it worked out perfectly. And it's one of those things that when we get wound up, we do go there. We do go. And I don't like to see that about myself. I don't like to see that there's a part of me that really loves being right, that's righteous and finds it delicious to get on my high horse or to even exert my white privilege, which I'm growing more and more aware of. Right? I'm aware of this. And it's not like if I bypass that, if I just went, well, I had the right to be that way, which was an old way of being, I wouldn't get a chance to see it. I wouldn't want to look at that person. I just cover it up and pretend it's something else. Or I could look at it and not like it, face it, be in it, and own up to it and do my best to correct it. And be willing to be in the flow of spirit, be willing to trust that in spite of the fact that the outcome that was presented to me didn't look like what I wanted, that there might be gifts in that. And there are always gifts in this beautiful world that are beyond our knowing. And so as we think about all the things that we're maybe feeling tight about, feeling stressed about, feeling uncertain about, how can we honor who we are? How can we go within in the breath and make choices that align with the people, with our spirit, with who we want to be, and with the true connection that we live in and from an abundant universe? Thank you.
Thank you, Nia. I too like the synchronicity with the way everything works. This song is titled "Walking on Sacred Ground," and you talked about that sacredness within us, that center, that divinity. Now, the first song I did before, "Let Go and Let God," most of the songs come to me as gifts, sort of in a silo, as it were. This particular one came to me with a friend of mine, Elaine Paul, coming to me and saying she had an idea. Why don't we work on it together? And so we did, and it came out in such a way that we were both marveling at the joy in the chorus, where it starts off hoping that we can always find that inner center, that divine sacredness wherever we go, whatever situation we find ourselves in. And then at the end of the course, we accept that as a reality. And so this is walking on sacred ground, because wherever you are, you can access that sacredness. Walking on sacred ground, that's where I belong. I'll be living and loving and walking on sacred ground. Sacred ground is where I walk. Sacred ground is where I talk. I am living and loving and walking on sacred ground. You won't know how, you won't know where, you won't know when to walk on sacred ground. You all know why, and you all know what to do to keep that sacred ground wrapped around you. Walking on sacred ground, that's where I belong. I'll be living and loving and walking on sacred ground. Sacred ground is where I walk. Sacred ground is where I talk. I am living and loving and walking on sacred ground. It's something old, it's something new, it's something pure when you walk on sacred ground. It's something secret that's right in front of you. So keep your footstep holy, straight and true. Walking on sacred ground, that's where I belong. I'll be living and loving and walking on sacred ground. Sacred ground is where I walk. Sacred ground is where I talk. I am living and loving and walking on sacred ground. Well, people know when you walk the walk, when you love the love, and you talk the talk. It shows in the way you walk sacred ground. Each man's walk is different. Each woman's walk is too. But we can all join hands and dance on sacred ground. Walking on sacred ground, that's where I belong. I'll be living and loving and walking on sacred ground. Sacred ground is where I walk. Sacred ground is where I talk. I am living and loving and walking on sacred ground. I am living and loving and walking on sacred ground. We all are living and loving and walking on sacred ground. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Always good music and always good messages from Rich. Good, appropriate messages in there. So thank you. Nia, this is my first time hearing you talk, and some very good information in here. I'm a big everything happens for a reason kind of guy, and so I think this is all appropriate stuff. And I've worked really hard with my relationships recently on trying to control my reaction, and that's an important lesson that I've learned lately. And like you, I'm not perfect. I still have my moments that I get tested constantly, but I'm a lot better than I was a few years ago. So I think very good information there. So, all right, in this time of COVID and Zoom, we still have considerable expenses to maintain our beautiful center in anticipation of our eventual return. All of us who are fond of and connected to Unity of the Valley are immensely grateful for your monetary contributions to keep our spiritual community going and thriving, as well as for your participation in our services. We affirm the natural expansion of our own prosperity, as well as that of Unity of the Valley, as we give our time, talents, and treasure with a high vibration of gratitude and an open heart. Let's read the love offering affirmation together, and then you'll have time during the musical interlude to consider your love offering. You may make your contribution after the service, either by mailing a check to the center or via the donate button on our website. We thank you in advance for your contributions. Please join me in the love offering affirmation. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. Okay. Now, excuse me, sorry.
My gift goes forth on the wings of love, and it lands where it can heal and bless. It returns to me, multiplied 1,000-fold, as the universe says yes, yes, as the universe says yes. My gift goes forth on the wings of love, and it lands where it can heal and bless. It returns to me, multiplied 1,000-fold, as the universe says yes, yes, as the universe says yes.
Now I invite everyone to join me in blessing all contributions and good of any kind so generously given to support Unity of the Valley this week. Together, we affirm that God is our source and we are the channels. We bless these gifts given in love that serve our spiritual family and flow out into our community and beyond. We are prosperous and blessed with abundant good. Thank you, Mother, Father, God. We have awesome events for you in August and moving into September. I'll give you the basics, and please see the weekly buzz on our website for more details and links to register for classes. Jean, our office guru, will also be sending out reminder emails for classes, so watch for those. First, our reminder that our 11 a.m. Tuesday morning guided meditation is broadcast live by one of our prayer chaplains each week on our Unity of the Valley Facebook page. Next, we welcome Deborah Engel. We welcome back Deborah Engel with a webinar Thursday, August 13th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. titled, "What Are You Here For?" Don't you sometimes wonder? Deborah will help you take a fresh look at your purpose. Then on Wednesday, August 19th, beginning at 7 p.m., our speaker today, Nia Clare, will offer group channeling. Nia will offer wisdom and support from archangels and masters, as well as a group consciousness in spirit. You'll then have a chance to ask a personal question. Cost is $35. This special event is limited to 16 participants, so please sign up early if you're interested. On Wednesday, August 26th at 7 p.m., Deborah Engel returns for a workshop called Simplifying Your Life with the Power of One. Those of you who've taken one of Deb's classes can attest to their wisdom and power. Cost is only $15. Last and very exciting, stay tuned for the Friday Night Light series beginning in September. Unity of the Valley will produce a positive, uplifting series of New Thought concerts, U-Talks, and movie nights every Friday night beginning at 7 p.m. We have a blockbuster lineup already in place, so here's John Ruddy to give you a preview.
Thank you, Mark. I'll rely on Mark to give me a heads up if you can hear me okay.
Yep, you're good.
All right. And I have a slide that you're going to put up here for me. Here we go. I am just excited. I am just so excited to be able to share this with you today. And it's not just the caffeine talking. I'm here to announce the Unity of the Valley Spiritual Community's Friday Night Light Series. It's going to be every Friday night at 7 p.m. Central. Tickets are $10 per event. So what is it? It's a series of virtual, positive, uplifting, and spiritually nourishing events held every Friday evening.
Sorry.
At 7 p.m.
Technical difficulties. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. And so I'm just going to stress that it's virtual. So this is a fall series that the assumption is that with what's going on in the outer part of our world, we will not be opening this fall. So this is a virtual series. It's going to run between September 11th and December 18th. It's going to be concerts. It's going to be Unity Talks, or I've coined the phrase U-Talks. Maybe movie nights and more if we decide to include Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Day events. I'll give credit to Catherine Belisle, came up with the name Friday Night Light. I like the symbolism of that. And then I'll give credit to Pam Carlson. She's always encouraging me to put up my intentions and express intentions every time I present some new ideas to Unity. So, you know, we do want to be an ongoing source of light for members. Wouldn't it be fantastic if every Friday night at 7, maybe hundreds or even thousands of people pause and join us for a concert? We do want to strengthen our energetic connection, raise our vibration within our community, building upon, you know, we worked really hard to get our service on Zoom and then the meditation and classes. This is the next big step for us virtually. We want to increase awareness of unity among external audiences so we can attract more like-minded people to our community. We do have new people watching us for the first time every Sunday. That's so exciting. This is really going to bust that open, I think. Even in the middle of what's going on, we still need to be attracting new people. We do want to promote and support our musical friends. They nourish us spiritually with their amazing talent, and during these unique and challenging times, a lot of their revenue activities have been canceled or suspended. And then, of course, finally, we want to affirm our ongoing growing abundance as a spiritual community through additional fundraising programs. So the ticket revenue will be split 60-40. 60% goes to the performer or speaker. That is our current going rate with our class instructors. So it's already been approved by the board. Everybody should be okay with that. What's beautiful about that is that it still gives incentive to the performer to promote to their mailing list. And in the past, we've brought in speakers, and by the time you fly someone in, put them up overnight, pay them a fee, that pretty much wipes out all our ticket sales. It's been a good event, but it really didn't raise any money. The 60-40 split has skin in the game for both of us, and it really is a good partnership. So all of the people I've talked to are appreciative and excited about that. There will be some ongoing marketing activities. We'll use our existing social media, of course, and website, The Weekly Buzz. I'm really good at securing free advertising and promotion, but we are going to look at doing some strategic paid advertising. I'll be asking the board on Tuesday night to, we do have $800 in the budget to spend on marketing this year. And as you know, we raised $745 in the Audrey Peterson Awareness Expansion Fund. You all made contributions to honor Audrey at our 30th anniversary celebration in February. So we do have some funds set aside, but I do also plan to pursue sponsorships. And then hopefully the beauty of this is maybe by spring of 2021, we can move to live concerts and live events. So all of you people that play air drums, give us a drum roll. We'll have Mark move to page 2. Here are our scheduled performers so far. On Friday night, September 11th, Gina Satoli will be joining us. She's a visionary songstress, performing artist, playwright, and composer. Gina presents her information, her music in cabaret format. So she's written a cabaret performance called Transformation Earth. And it's a sacred healing musical performance that vibrates deep into your very being. It's a powerful solo performance for the regeneration and evolution of humanity, the earth, and all of life. Gina, some of you may recognize her name. She has been at Unity of the Valley a long, long time ago. She remembers Audrey Peterson, but it's been a while. Particularly, she's very excited to do that on 9/11, which also has a lot of energy just with that date. So it's going to be a great healing event. Next, Friday night, the 18th, are you kidding me? Daniel Neymond is going to be with us. He's a singer, songwriter, producer, one of the most successful and admired independent artists in the United States today. Sold over 110,000 CDs on his own Humanity Music label. He's released 22 albums. I could go on and on and on. For those of you that have been with Unity at any length of time, we've sung his songs, so you're going to recognize his music. All right, Daniel has a new album out, Sing About Love, so he's going to be promoting that as well. But if that weren't enough, Karen Drucker is going to be with us. Karen and Daniel are probably the two most well-known, prolific, New Thought, positive music artists in our genre. So Karen's message is all about healing and love, whether singing one of her positive message songs or sharing stories that are funny, inspiring, and heart-opening. She's a music director at three different New Thought churches. She was honored with an honorary doctorate of music for her work within the Centers for Spiritual Living Community, and she's won a Grace Note Award for her work with the Unity Movement. Karen also has agreed to be our speaker and our musician on Sunday, October 25th, so I'm excited to announce that as well. Then I'm going to introduce you to two people you've probably not heard of. Faith Rivera will be joining us on October 2nd. She will be joining us from the sunny shores of Hawaii. She's an Emmy Award-winning singer-songwriter. She opens hearts and transforms lives around the globe through the power of music. She has released 11 albums, and she lists a lot of awards. She's a multiple Positive Music Award winner. So when you win a Positive Music Award, it's called a POSI, P-O-S-I. Didn't know about that. She's a multiple POSI winner. And so she's going to be coming to us from Hawaii, and we're also talking about her partnering with us to do an Aloha Fest. It's a luau. It's a virtual luau with island performers sharing the aloha spirit through Hawaiian music, hula dancing, and even fire dancer and more. So we're excited to do that. And then another person we're introducing you to is Denise Rosier. She is a contemporary inspirational artist, award-winning singer, songwriter, producer, recording artist. She writes for New Thought spiritual communities and open and affirming church denominations. She's got 5 solo albums, numerous awards, also multiple Posse Award winner. And she pushes the genre. She's the first and only artist to win, to be nominated for Best Contemporary Christian Gospel Album at the Independent Music Awards. So again, I can tell you a lot more about her. And then 10/16, Jamie Lula will be joining us. He might be recognizable to many of you. I hosted Jamie here in 2016. He ended up performing over at Unity Minneapolis. Then one of our members was kind enough to share this information with Michael Monroe. So Michael Monroe has reached out, and we're exploring whether this is a good fit and whether we fit into his calendar. And then our potential first U-Talk is Dr. Shawn Duperon, and she has been recognized. She is the CEO of Project Forgive, and she has been recognized as inspiring global leaders like Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and she was honored with a Nobel Peace Prize nomination. And her primary focus is to relieve suffering by making an impact on physical and emotional health through the practice and skill of forgiveness. So again, we'll print more of this in the buzz. This is just a taste of what's going on. I am just so excited. I'm just also really pleased that these award-winning, internationally known artists, every one of them have said yes to us to put on a concert. So stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more coming your way. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, John. Very exciting. Great news. Excitement for all of us on that. That should be great. All right, so please join me. Now we'll run to the prayer for protection. Please join me. The light of God surrounds me. I am that light. The love of God enfolds me. I am that love. The power of God protects me. I am that power. The presence of God watches over me. I am that presence. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever God is, I am. And all is well. So before we finish up, I'd like to, as I usually do, give you the quote of the week. My quote of the week, and I got lucky. It actually matches up well with our talk today. I embrace adversity. I keep going when things get difficult. I see difficulties as happening for me, not to me. And a couple quick trivia things for you. Number one, anybody, I don't know if you recognize that picture that I put up there. That's my college area. That's the chapel out at St. John's that you can hike to, which is really cool. Another one is I'm heading up to the Gooseberry Duluth area next weekend. And did you know Minnesota has more shoreline than California, Hawaii, and Florida combined? Pretty cool fact. And finally, thank you for joining us. Be well, and please stay connected with Unity. If you'd like to be part of the Zoom social after the service, just stay logged into this meeting and say hi to your Unity friends and guests. We'll conclude with Rich Miller and our closing song, It All Comes From God.
Thank you, Mark. This song was written by Tom Haddix. Maybe, I'm sure many of you know Tom. He's usually in the Unity North area. He's been the leader of the Unity North Chant Ministry for years. And it's a little bit of a call and response. It's really easy to join in on because the key phrase is, it all comes from God. Well, I got some green paper in my billfold. It all comes from God. Send it out, it comes back tenfold. It all comes from God. Chorus. It all comes from God. It all comes from God. Send out a little and get back a lot. It all comes from God. Jesus had a basket of fish and bread. It all comes from God. He gave thanks and everybody got fed. It all comes from God. All right. It all comes from God. It all comes from God. Well, it might be lobster, it might be cod. It all comes from God. Well, Elvis rolled around in a red Rolls Royce. It all comes from God. 'Cause everybody loved his singing voice. It all comes from God. Yeah. It all comes from God. It all comes from God. Mercedes-Benz and a two-door Dodge. It all comes from God. Again, it all comes from God. It all comes from God. Well, you send out a little, you get back a lot. It all comes from God. Have a blessed day, and thank you very much.